Hey, what is up everyone? Today I'm taking a look at the high-grade MAILES Reiki. As usual, this video would not have been possible without Hobby Link Japan, so there is a link down there in the description. So first off, jumping into the overview of everything in this box, and we've got the MAILES Reiki itself. And when it comes to the accessories, we've got that giant naginata, a net unit for on the arm, as well as the same alternate hands we would have seen in the last few high-grade Kyoukai Senki kits. I will also mention we do have some color correcting stickers in here as well, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. First, let's talk a little bit about the build. So when it comes to the build and the experience of the Reiki right here, this is exactly the same as what we would have seen so far with the majority, or should I say the entirety, of the high-grade Kyoukai Senki line. And that is, this is an absolutely phenomenal model kit and a whole lot of fun to build. Inside of the box we have a whole bunch of runners, a whole bunch of different color separation, which is nice, but like we've mentioned already, there are some stickers to be used in this build. Not a whole lot, but it is worth knowing that there are a few color correcting ones in here. Besides that though, this is easy to cut out, easy to assemble, is a whole lot of fun, and if you're used to other kits like gunpla and other similar mecha kits, this might be a nice little break because the design is completely different. However, if you have built some of the AMAIM warrior at the borderline kits already, well, you know exactly what you're in for. I will mention in this build, I did use the vast majority of the stickers, and I did pen line it a little bit with the Poor Style Gundam markers, that is, the oil-based ones. So jumping into the full 360 spin, and what it says in the manual about Reiki right here is, this is a MAILES belonging to the Japanese resistance organization Yatagarasu. It is equipped with an MAILES, an Advanced Intelligent Learning System AI, and has exceptional capabilities that far surpass those of ordinary human special mobile weapon AMAIMs. Reiki is a machine specially tuned for maneuver warfare. It was designed to have improved aerodynamic characteristics which granted the unit high jumping and gliding ability, allowing it to move freely in the air at low altitudes and carry out hit-and-run attacks while baffling enemy AMAIM units moving on foot. The MAILES installed in Reiki is a personality program named Nayuta, but it has an extremely intricate pseudo-self-consciousness and calls itself Angelo. So reflecting what it says in the blurb about this particular AMAIM right here, this has a lot of aspects that does make this look like a lighter, more aerodynamic AMAIM than what we would have seen before. The feet, the legs, the arms, they're all more lightweight looking and narrower than what we would have seen on the previous high grades from this particular series. On top of that, we have a bunch of white segments on this on the knees, around on the rear skirting, the sides of the arms, as well as up on the shoulders, which all seem to be thruster units. We've got little fin segments on the back of the arms, up on the back of the head, and the butt flap itself is just one giant pair of, well, butt wings. So you can see this is one aerodynamic variant of the AMAIMs we would have seen before. All the typical AMAIM warrior characteristics are right here, so we do have all of those little indents that you can panel line up to get that little detail to pop a little bit. We've got the shiny pistons inside of the chest. Once again, these are stickers, and speaking of the stickers, these are the ones that come in here, and I have not used the yellow ones for a round back, but I've used the rest. The gold ones, these ones right here, those are the ones that are inside the chest. And as for the 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, etc., which are the dark ones and the light ones, the darker ones attach right here, just on the sides of the legs. We have 4 of those, and the lighter color ones are right here on the butt flap wings. The last one we have here is this head camera or lens on the back of the head. Lastly then, just like the rest of these kits, up in the head there we do have some blue clear parts for the eyes. So unlike gunpla, no stickers for the eyes, just some nice translucent clears. That looks good. As for size comparison, there it is side by side with a 1/44th scale Gundam, this being the entry grade. And as for beside the other AMAIMs in order of release, there it is side by side with Byakuchi, side by side with Kenbu, and finally there is Jogan. So in one of the last AMAIM Warrior reviews, one of you guys did ask me to put this beside a perfect grade Gundam because the perfect grade Gundam is 1/60th scale, these kits are 1/72nd scale, so when it comes to Gunpla, this is the closest scale Gundam to one of these Kyoukai Senki kits, so I'll give you an idea of what they'd be like side by side, almost. So jumping back to begin the review, and there is the Reiki with absolutely everything it comes with, so let's check it all out one by one. So the first weapon we have in here is this right here. Now this is the naginata. According to the instructions, this is a superheated vibrating naginata. Despite being an armament for close quarters combat, it has a long handle and attack range which complements Reiki's agility and excellent mobility. Now we'll mention straight away the blade of this is meant to be an orange, so it is not 100% color accurate and you may want to have to, well, paint that yourself. Attaching this is pretty simple. The only annoying aspect is Bandai included only one back of hands for each side, and we do have widespread open hands and holding hands, but we've got only one back to share between the two. So attaching it into the hand is simple. It just pops in just like so. The back then pops on like this. And then this is our usual ball joint attachment, just like that. And it holds on absolutely perfectly. When this weapon is not in use, it can actually collapse down just like so, but there is no storage options on the Reiki right here. I assume it's just gonna hold this in its hand and bring it around with it all the time because you can't store it up on the back like we would have seen before, even though we do have one of those backpack connector slots around back. The next weapon we have in here is the Electric Capture Net Launcher. And like what it sounds like it is, the blurb says, this device launches an electric net to capture enemy units. So this just attaches onto the rear of the forearm here. It's made out of 3 pieces, 2 different colors. That is orange and gray. And by the looks of the instructions, in here is meant to be in a darker gray, but that's an easy spot to paint or panel line. So yeah, the Reiki right here comes with a fairly simplistic loadout, but I will mention it does have left over on the runners a standard rifle holding hand. So once again, all the parts on these kits are completely universal across the range, so you can mix and match arms, legs, weapons, etc. and make your own custom AMAIM. So now jumping into the articulation and the build, once again, these things are rock solid. I'll also mention this is the most intricate out of all of these kits so far. We've got some more stuff going on than we would normally see, so let's take a quick look. So we've got a double jointed giggity goo neck, which allows up, down, side to side, and it is a ball joint up top and a hinge and a ball joint down below, so these necks are great. The shoulders here are just as impressive as they normally are, so they pull back like that, push forward, and the piston in the chest closes like so, and there's up and down there, and this moving bit of armor, and that's before the arm is even attached. When the arm is attached, then we've got that full 360 spin, and in order to lock the full arm moving up, we've got this little bit of a hatch on the joint which you have to pull out like so, and that's some nice intricacy right there. So on doing that, then we've got a second joint inside the shoulder, which allows the arm to raise all the way up to there. Not too bad. Full 360 spin right here. And before I forget, we've got these pretty sweet thrusters up on the shoulders which can swing forward like so, and they can rotate as well, so you can point that thruster whatever way that you want to get those nice over the top in the air poses. The elbow on this is the usual style of a rotating segment right here and a rotating segment right here. So once again, this is extremely robotic, and that's pretty cool. Around the other side then, we've got another one of those little thrusters that can rotate once again on a peg to get the angle that you want, and this can rotate too. A lot of pegs. And the wrist right here is your standard ball joint. We've got a phenomenal body segment once again. Same as before, we've got a tilt forward and back here, a peg that allows it to move side to side like so, and then a ball joint down bottom that does what a ball joint does. And it's a good damn ball joint too. We've got a big waist peg. This does not move, so no dropping of the legs. And when it comes to the kicks, there it is all the way up to the front. That could go all the way around if it was for the butt flap. There it is all the way to the back. And of course, as usual, we do have the full split, so these things can fairly move. The upper leg rotation goes all the way around right here. We've got another one of these white thruster units. This can spin all the way around just like so, and it can tilt like that as well. The rear skirting armor right here is one of the main aspects of this kit, and this can do a lot. It can move up like so. It can also tilt side to side like that. And we've got a pair of fold out wings here, and this can move up like this. On the bottom of those, we've got some more of those thruster units that can move to thrust in the direction that you want them to. So that is there to there. So with the leg off to test the knee, just because this can go all the way around like so. So once again, this knee is not like a human leg, more so a robotic style one. And finally, getting the foot in the ground to test the functional movement. So there it is all the way to the front without raising the foot off the ground. There it is then all the way to the back. So not as much to the back. This side-to-side pivot then is all the way from there to there. So almost an iron-blooded orphan's drum-style joint. So we have 2 points of articulation at the foot. So this one allows it to move down and up like so. And then we've got a toe here that moves up and down like that. So there's a lot of down. It almost looks like it can work as a big claw. That's pretty cool. So yeah, once again, this has ridiculously awesome articulation. These kits all do, but this has a bunch of small little aspects all over it, like the thrusters, the wings around back, which makes this even more dynamic. I guess it does suit the lore. Whatever kind of pose you want to pull off with this kit, you will definitely get it and make it look killer to boot. So anyway, that right there is it for the review of the high-grade Reiki, and when it comes to Bandai's high-grade line, this to me gets a gold tier, which means it is better than average. This is such a solid build. The build itself is actually a whole lot of fun, and even if you've built the other Kyoukai Senki kits, this still feels fresh. We've got a bunch of cool thrusters, the weapons are interesting, and we've got those wings round back that fold out from the butt flap. And funnily enough, they remind me a little bit of the weapon we would have seen around back on the Gundam Guxian Remake Full City. So yeah, going through the list, aesthetically this looks phenomenal. There are a couple of stickers on it, which detract some points. When it comes to the accessories, this is a little light compared to the other kits, but it is still nice. We've got a net and a big old naginata. Lastly, then, when it comes to the articulation, this absolutely slays. Without a doubt, it's full points for the articulation and the strength of the build. So yeah, if you do want one of these of your own, as usual, this video would not have been possible without those awesome people over at HobbyLink Japan, so there will be a link down there in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Once again, I cannot finish this video right here without thanking those who support me here on the channel as members and over on Patreon, including Craig Jerry, Caleb Engelhardt, Van Fawn, Global Frequency Studios, Lauren Seahack, Joseph Kukluk, Mr. Winter, Forsetti, Joe, Org59061, and Gunpla UK Limited.